Hi, this is Melissa Clark from New York Times Cooking. Who doesn't love a simple one-pan meal? Take my shakshuka with feta recipe, for instance. In a single skillet, you get perfectly cooked eggs nestled in a bright and fragrant tomato sauce, surrounded by creamy nuggets of melted feta. It's a delicious breakfast, but it's just as good for dinner, and it won't leave you with a lot of cleanup. You can find this recipe and all of our fan-favorite one-pan recipes at nytcooking.com.
Ahoy, welcome to a brand new episode of Baffled. This is Connor Explains, and after our 1 week hiatus, where we learned more than we've learned in about 18 months of this show, Connor is back. Connor is doing the explaining. We are true to our title today. My name is Dan. Mark is also here.
Hello.
Feeling a bit jealous, are you, Mark?
You know what? I'm interested to see if Connor's going to up his game after I absolutely smashed it out of the park last week.
Oh,
fighting talk.
I know, I was doing an impression of the Ghost of Christmas Past.
I'm going to come in.
Sorry, Connor, go for it.
I'm going to come in. I actually caught up with your episode, Mark, when I was away. Had a little listen with my cousins who listened to Baffled. They went, yeah, they said, yeah, he's really explained it, but not really much to it, though. It's just him talking about shit.
What is our podcast if it's not people talking about shit? So there you go.
True.
That's kind of the point of the whole bloody thing.
Mark, can I ask you a question, though?
Of course you can.
I felt like you really enjoyed it. Did you enjoy it?
I mean, any chance to put you in your place, I really enjoy, and I felt like that was an elongated period where I could just put you in your place. So yeah, I did enjoy it. Yeah,
that's the worst bit about it. When I listened to it, I was like, oh god, it goes to show just how I am at this. But anyway,
yeah, there was, and I enjoyed it because I did learn stuff about, but the 12 Days of Christmas.
You were most impressed at yourself for being able to remember the 12 Days of Christmas.
Sure. There was an underlying arrogance in the explanation, a haughty, mightier-than-thou opinion of knowledge, I would say.
All I'm saying is, why is that a surprise to you? That is literally my persona, an arrogance where I think I'm better than everyone. I mean, it's very hard not to think that when you are better than everyone, but, sometimes it just comes across a little too much. So, I apologise if you got that, but nonetheless, is it a surprise?
And also, Mark, it's not really hard to feel like you're better than me when it comes to explaining things and research-based stuff, so well done to you.
Thank you.
What are you explaining this week, Connor?
Santa!
We learn on Tuesday's main episode that Santa was made red by the Coca-Cola company in a marketing ploy. So have you got anything else?
That's pretty much it. I used the fact, really. Yeah, so he's big and he's red, and Coca-Cola illustrated him, maybe, but Mark tends to think otherwise. Happy Christmas.
You could say Happy Christmas with a bit more vim and vigour. You sound a bit like Tiny Tim when he's not saved.
I thought he was about to say Tiny Temper, thinking, when has he ever said Happy Christmas? Anyway, Santa.
I mean, he probably has in his life.
Yeah, he probably has at some stage. Santa, Nicholas, the real Santa Claus. I've done a bit of research. I also spoke to the lads before this for the listeners. They've got shit as well, I'm sure. I mean, Dan in the last episode listed off the Santas all around the world and how they celebrate, so he obviously knows a bit about Santa. But the legend of Santa Claus can be traced back hundreds of years to a monk named St. Nicholas. A lot of people would already know that. It is believed that St. Nicholas was born sometime around 280 AD, in a place called Myra in modern-day Turkey. So he was a Turkish man. There you go. Basically, he was admired for being kind. He was a good person. He was known there as well as being a very kind person. St. Nicholas became the subject of many legends. It is said that he gave away all of his inherited wealth and travelled the countryside helping the poor and sick. That was what he was known for as a monk.
All I'm saying, if the three of us are famous Christmas characters, Mark is the Grinch and Scrooge.
Thank you.
I am Santa. Connor, you are Bob Cratchit.
Oh?
Bob Cratchit from Christmas Carol. Kind of like the meek Clark that just like is inferior in every way and is just there. Like happy, but ultimately a moron.
Yeah, I don't know, Mark, you're a big fan of Christmas, aren't you? Or
yeah, I'm not massively a big fan of being told that I am Scrooge or the Grinch. I love Christmas.
Yeah, but you just hate life in general. This is a problem.
I just hate people.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And unfortunately, they take up a lot of life.
So, yeah, St. Nicholas, Santa, he was known way back then as being a kind person. One of his most famous stories that kind of painted a picture for who St. Nicholas was the time that he saved 3 poor sisters from being sold into slavery and prostitution by their father. He was providing them with a dowry? Dowry, pronounced dowry, right?
Yeah.
Dowry, so that they could be married and therefore escape slavery and prostitution back in the day. So he was just known as being a really good guy, you know. He was trying to help people all the time. That was what he set out to achieve.
A decent fella. So he's a lovely guy. He's giving dowries to random sisters so they're not becoming prostitutes.
Here we go.
How does it become Fat Man?
So basically, over the course of many years, his popularity spread, and he actually became known, St. Nicholas, as the protector of children and sailors. Due to just being so kind, he kind of got that title, and he was helping so many...
I enjoy the two specific groups there. Children and sailors. If you grow up to be a sailor, I'll keep protecting you. If you don't choose sailing as a profession, I'm sorry, you're out.
You're on your own.
Not protecting you, not looking after you.
So going on from that, by the Renaissance, St. Nicholas was the most popular saint in Europe. He had become a bit of a face in Europe as a saint. And the name Santa Claus evolved from Nick's Dutch nickname, which is actually Sinterklaas, a shortened form of Sint Nicholas.
Sinterklaas. Yeah.
Sinterklaas. And in 1804, a guy called John, his actual name is John Pintard, but I thought it would be funny to call him a man called John, a member of the New York Historical Society, distributed woodcuts of St. Nicholas at the Society's annual meeting. The background of the engraving contains now familiar Santa images that we see today, including stockings filled with toys and fruit hung over the fireplace. So that wasn't necessarily something that St. Nicholas done, but the guy just kind of, that man himself, created that picture around how do you pronounce it? Sinterklaas. Sinterklaas. I feel like I've done a good job with that.
You did a job, yeah, I think so.
There we go. So Sinterklaas was described as everything from rascal with a blue three-cornered hat, a red waistcoat, yellow stockings, to a man wearing a broad-brimmed hat and huge pair of Flemish trunk pants. So they were kind of the descriptions that they put around him when they started to create this kind of version of him as a person. Is there anything you guys would like to add? Do you know anything about this? Maybe you do.
I've not caught up on my 18th century Flemish mythology, but I'm intrigued. I'm enjoying it.
Oh, so you're learning. Here we go.
I didn't know he was Turkish. That's quite a thing.
That's quite a thing. And yeah, so leading on to gift giving, obviously the biggest part of the idea of Santa. Gift giving, mainly centred around children, has been an important part of Christmas celebration since the holidays in the early 19th century. So basically, stores began to advertise Christmas shopping in 1820, and by the 1840s, newspapers were creating separate sections for holiday advertisements. It was really becoming a thing, which often featured images of the newly popular Santa Claus, which had grown over the years from that very first moment where there was an engraving on the back of that thing that was handed out with stockings behind it.
Quite a lot of I know I've banged on about the Christmas Carol, quite a lot of the ideas we have of Christmas was actually taken from just Charles Dickens making them up for his the book The Christmas Carol. It was kind of floating around, but the main idea that we have of Christmas today was him putting it down in paper there. Nothing to do with Santa, I just like the book.
Yeah, and also
Can you imagine being that famous of a writer? You're like, I'm basically just going to shape how this tradition is because that's how I want it to be.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not a bad life to lead.
It was quite big in the Victorian era anyway, because what's his name, old Albert, Prince Albert, kind of brought a lot.
He loved it.
Yeah, brought a lot over from Germany.
Something that interests me, and I sort of researched this separately to Santa, was obviously based on all of this. It was all picture based, wasn't it? It was all picture based versions of this idea of Santa. There was in advertisements, there was on the back of that wood. When did Santa kind of come to life? I found that quite interesting. When were kids interacting with this idea of Santa? And there was actually quite a lot on it. So in 1841, thousands of children visited a Philadelphia shop to see a life-sized Santa Claus model, which was the first model ever made of that picture that was created of Santa. And then in the early 1890s, the Salvation Army needed money to pay for the free Christmas meals they provided to needy families. So they began dressing up unemployed men in Santa Claus suits and sending them into the streets of New York to get donations. Those familiar Salvation Army Santas have been ringing bells on the street corners of America cities ever since.
I like to experience, I think, one Christmas in America. I think you'd have to dive right into it because I think some people can treat Christmas with a bit of arrogance, like, hey, we do Christmas much better than everyone else. I don't know how. I think that would affect me.
I've had a Christmas in Texas before. I've also had a Christmas in New York, and they're two very different types.
You've had a Christmas in New York?
I had a Christmas in New York, yeah, when I was like
fancy.
11. And
fancy.
It was
Where did you stay?
I stayed in the Novotel, which is just like they're all over.
Less exciting. What did you do on Christmas Day?
We just went for a walk. We went to see the things being sung, what they called carols being sung. I'll be honest with you though, like New York obviously is kind of like the picture, the film, everything. Everybody imagines New York to be amazing at Christmas. Incredible, yes, but you can't beat being at home with family at Christmas, in my opinion.
I'm with you. Like New York at Christmas, cold, the Rockefeller Tower tree,
Scrooge.
Or, like everything it seems brilliant, but at home.
Yeah.
Gotta be at home.
Although I did also in my trip to Austin celebrate my first proper Thanksgiving in Austin as an adult. And
oh my God, have you just been to Austin?
And following on from obviously the Connor Explains that we've done around Thanksgiving and things like that, very different to what I expected.
I'll be honest, I followed your social profiles intently over your trip to Austin. I wanted to see more of Austin, less of you taking pictures of like cans of beer. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is an American can of soda. Yeah, I figured that out. Here's American soda water. Yeah, brilliant. Show me Austin. Show me the city.
I want to be honest with you, okay? One of my favourite, if not, yes, my favourite place in the world. Not very picturesque, Dan. Not much to grab for you.
Any more? Where Father Christmas is concerned? Papa Noel, Papa Gigio, Santa Claus?
No, just that there was a big old bit of history there. I hope that I kind of explained it to you in a term that made sense. I think I've done a good job there, Mark, don't you?
It was passable.
Oh,
yeah.
Cheers.
We'll take that.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Back on Tuesday for a brand new episode. 9 spanking facts glistening into your podcast feeds. The date will be the 21st. You're going to get this, and this will be... Are we doing one on Christmas Eve?
Yeah, we're going to do one on Christmas Eve. Of course we're doing.
So there you go. You will have one last beautiful present nestled in your ear trees from the Baffled Boys who bring all the noise. Make sure you follow us for that. It'll automatically download. info@baffledpod.com is where you need to go to get in touch. We're on socials at BaffledPod on TikTok and Insta. Say goodbye, Mark.
Goodbye.
Say goodbye, Connor.
Dan, give us your best Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
That's good. Mark?
What wine?
Scrooge.
God,
Scrooge.
Look at him. Just
Bob
sitting there
Cratchit.
like, he's sitting there like, can you stop banging on so I can get back to my emails? So, see ya.
Father Christmas. See you later. Bye-bye.
At New York Times Cooking, we believe that you shouldn't have to run to the grocery store every time you want to make something delicious. I'm Melissa Clark, and my recipe for the most adaptable one-bowl cornmeal pound cake is a comforting loaf cake that you can have fresh out of the oven in under an hour, using ingredients you probably already have on hand. And sliced, toasted, and buttered, it's practically a bread, so it gives you a pass to eat cake for breakfast. You can find so many easy, flexible pantry recipes like this one at nytcooking.com.
Following the news is a full-time job, but it's not your full-time job, it's mine. Hi, I'm David Rind, and I help produce CNN 5 Things, a show that brings you 5 stories shaping our world in 5 minutes or less. We keep track of the biggest headlines all day, every day, so you don't have to. You can go ahead and hop on that Zoom call while we sort out the latest breaking news, and when you're ready, we'll be here for you. It's what we do. Just tell your smart speaker to play CNN 5 Things, or listen wherever you get your podcasts.